Most if core developers handle soft deletes by adding a where clause to every query. And it works until someone forgets to add it, and suddenly deleted records start showing up in production. EF Core actually has a built-in feature that solves this, and once you start using it, you'll never go back. In this video, I'll show you how to set up query filters, automatically convert hard deletes into soft deletes, and even use the same feature to implement multi-tenancy, all without changing your existing queries. Let's start with a typical database setup. I have a number of products in the products table, and a number of them have been soft deleted. This is indicated by the deleted being set with a time. Now if I query all products using EF Core, all products get returned, including the deleted ones. The usual solution is to add filters everywhere. So with this we can add a where clause when deleted does not have a value. And this works until another developer adds a new method and they forget to add the filter, and suddenly deleted records appear in production. EF Core has a feature called query filters that automatically applies a filter to every query for a given entity. So you write the rule once and EF Core enforces it everywhere. To enable this, we go into the product configuration and add a query filter. So we call hasQueryFilter and we specify that deleted does not have a value. This tells EF Core that when you query products, don't include the products that have been soft deleted. Now if I run this query again without the where clause, the deleted products are gone without changing the query. But we can take this one step further. If someone calls remove, it will hard delete the product, which defeats the whole purpose of soft deletes. Instead, we go to the DB context and we can intercept changes in save changes async, so we can turn a deleted product into a modified one and set the deleted column that way. First of all, we need to override save changes async, and then we say for each item in change tracker.entries with the product entity where the state is deleted. Now this where clause is very important. If you forget to add it, it will effectively soft delete all your products every time an update is made. We then need to change the state so it's modified, and then we set the deleted current value to the current date time. Now make sure that you get the column name right for that. If you don't, it won't update correctly. Now every remove call soft deletes the product automatically. We can test that out by deleting the product with an ID of 5. So it's calling our code. Let's refresh the database. And the product ID of 5 is still in the products table, but instead the deleted column has been set. If you want to see how Entity Framework Core fits into a real-world application, I cover it in my Minimal APIs for Complete Beginners course, where we'll build a full system from start to finish. Go to runthecode.com/min1 or via the link in the YouTube description. Query filters aren't just for soft deletes. They're also one of the simplest ways of adding multi-tenancy in EF Core. So I have a site options class which has a site ID property. This is being bound to the site section in my configuration. But I have a problem. When I'm configuring the product, I've added it into a class. The issue here is that I can't inject the I options into these sorts of classes. So how am I going to inject the site ID from the configuration into the query filter? What I can do is I can inject the site options into the DB context. So I'm going to do that. It's a type of I option snapshot of site options, and we'll name it the same thing. Now I need to expose the site ID in the DB context. How do you think I can do that? Well, I can set a property which will store the site ID. So I've set that, and then I can set the site ID from the constructor by getting the site options and getting the site ID from that. But how do I get the DB context instance into my entity configuration so I can apply it to the query filter? Well, what I can do is I can set a new private read-only field, and I can get the DB context type. I can name it _context, and I just need to set a default value for it so it removes the warning. And then with that instance, I can actually apply the filter. So I can say if site ID equals context.siteID. And now when Entity Framework Core queries the product, it will only return products where the site ID is the same in the configuration and it hasn't been soft deleted. Now I'll run this query again that has no filters. I'll add a breakpoint there so we can see that it's running. We'll execute the endpoint. And it's only returned the products where the site ID is 1 and where the product hasn't been deleted. In .NET 10, EF Core introduced name query filters because previously, if you called hasQueryFilter multiple times, the last one would overwrite the others. To name the query filters, I just added a parameter. I'm going to name this one multi-tenancy, and I'll name this one active. Now I will need to add these names to the queries. However, I might want to change one of the names. As a result of that, I might forget to change it everywhere. What do you think I can do to prevent that? I can set these into a constant. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the first one multi-tenancy query filter, and we'll add the name in there, and we'll do the same for the active one as well. So we'll rename it to active query filter and call it active, and then we'll use these constant strings as the named query filter. In a query we can call ignore query filters. The problem with that though is that it will ignore all our query filters. If we want to just ignore the multi-tenancy query filter, we need a way of doing that. So how do you think we can do that? Well, in the ignore query filters, we can add a parameter. We can specify the name of the query filter. Now we've added it as a constant string in this configuration, so we can call that. So we call product configuration.multitenancy query filter, and this will get all the active products for all the sites. Let's run this query. What products will return? So it's returned products from site ID 1 and 2, but it hasn't returned any deleted products. It has ignored this query filter, but it's still applying this one. I'm curious, do you use query filters in your project, or are you still using the where clause? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see how Entity Framework Core fits into a real-world application, you can view my minimal API course at roundthecode.com/min1 or via the link in the YouTube description. Otherwise, to continue learning for free, watch my beginner's guide on Entity Framework Core here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.